Hello, welcome back to Goomoney's Coins and Banknotes, and today we have some Brazilian coins that are going to be reviewed. They are the top aluminium coins, and these are the first Cruizeiro, which were first issued in 1943, but the aluminium coins started to appear in 1956. So the aluminium bronze coins we have down below were the coins in circulation from 1942 until 1956. They would have circulated afterwards, and the exchange rate that I have found at the time, so 1939 when they used the raise, it's about 22,500 raise equals $1, so that converts it to 22 and a half Cruzeiros in 1939. 1942 might have been about 25 Cruzeiros, but by 1965 it had been devalued to around about 2,000 Cruzeiros. So basically by 1965 these coins were no longer in circulation, and the aluminium bronze coins and the aluminium ones themselves were all demonetized in 1964. So the currency was still around, but at 2000 to $1 you got 220, so pretty much 20 Cruzeiros would have been, or even the 10 Cruzeiro coin which I did issue in 1965 would have been the last coins. Okay, the first coins that were issued with the new design. So the new design has basically just the denomination, the date, and as you can see, because it's aluminium, they're pretty poorly minted, not like the East German or the Albanian coins. And we have the United States of Brazil, so the Republic of the United States of Brazil, and we have the emblem of Brazil, which has in the center the Southern Cross, and that's where the name Cruzeiro comes from Cruzeiro de Sol, so the name of Southern Cross in Portuguese. So that's basically the design of these coins, and they do differ from the design of the aluminium bronze coins, which had the Southern Cross and behind the actual denomination date, and on the flip side, oops, dropped the coin, we have the topographic map. So the topographic map means it shows the mountain ranges as well as the rivers which inhabit Brazil, and just the name of the actual country. So this one, if we look close up, yeah, the lettering of the actual country itself has had a problem. Looks like they've, I think it might be a grease strike, or might be a problem with the actual flan. Maybe it was a bit too chunky and it's had to be pushed out. Okay, so all the denominations were issued in aluminium in 1967, but in so the first two coins in 1956 were aluminium, the 10 and 20 centavos. The 51 and 2 Cruzeiros were still made of aluminium bronze, but in a new design. And in 1956, both the older design, the 10, okay, I'm having a look here. Okay, 1956 is only this coin that was issued. In 1956 as well, we have this denomination as well as the aluminium that was issued. There were no aluminium bronze coins in the new design for the 20 centavos. In 1956, we have this design issued in aluminium bronze, and we also had this design issued. So when I'm talking about the other designs, I'm talking about the portraits and the map of Brazil. So 1956, both of these coins in aluminium bronze, as well as the ones with the map of Brazil, were minted. But we don't know how many of each mintage for the two aluminium bronze coins. So there were basically two different issues in 1956 for the 2050 1 and 2 Cruzeiros, and they're the ones you need to look for. Now, as for the mintage figures that we have for the coins, I do have 1956 for the 10 centavos, 741,000 minted. It's the second lowest after 1960 with 624,000. So those are the pretty much the key dates that you want to get for this coin. And in uncirculated, probably paying about $10 and $20. For the 20 centavos, we have a 1958, 8,520,000. And then we have a 1961, which is the last year of issue, 2,332,000. The key date is 1960 with 510,000. So a key date coin is the one with the lowest minted, or the one that's hardest to get. Now, for the 50 centavos, 1957 and 49,350,000. So these have a lot more of a mintage than the 10 and 20, indicating that the 10 and 20 weren't really used in circulation, so the demand was a lot lower. Okay, 1959, 891,000. And the last year of mintage, which is this coin, 1961, 18,456,000. Okay, the 2, 1 and 2 Cruzeiros I got are all 1961, and there's a mintage 41 Cruzeiro of 22,181,000. That is the third lowest. There is no key date. The lowest mintage is 1957 with 11,849,000. So all of these you can pick up for just a few dollars in high grade. So these are all pretty much uncirculated. And because all of these coins are uncirculated apart from environmental damage. So here's one with environmental damage. Doesn't show that much wear. It shows like a weak strike on the 50. And as you can see, this has problem basically caused by the actual mint production. KD 1952, 1961 and 24,924,000. So it's going to be common. And the key date you want for this one's 1957 with 194,000. So that one you're going to be paying a pretty penny for one of those coins. So these ones were removed from circulation 1964, and then we have 1965. So they issued 3 coins in that time period, the 10, 20 and the 50 Cruzeiros coins. And they circulated for 2 years. Now the banknote would have still been in circulation at the time. Now these ones just have the denomination. This one's 2.15 grams, 23 millimeters. And on the other side we have the reuse of the topographic map. And if we show the actual size, it's the same size as the 1 Cruzeiro coin. So they would have used the same planchets that we used for the 1 Cruzeiros. So basically in 1965, a lot of people would have used these ones for the 10 Cruzeiro coin, which, because in 1965 these are the value about half a US cent. Really, I would say these probably didn't circulate quite well. And the mintage figures for 1965 10 Cruzeiro, which is a single year issue, it's 46,057,000. So really you can buy these for like $2 to $3. Then we have the 20, which is pretty much the same. And once again, it's the same size as the 2 Cruizeiro coin that was issued earlier. It's slightly thinner in the planchet, but basically people would use this as a replacement for the 20 Cruzeiros. And so it's 2.45 grams, 25 millimeters. And they had a mintage of, okay, I dropped it again. They had a mintage of 52,026,000. Now the only copper nickel coin they issued for this series is the 50. And as you can see, this has a problem with the production. It looks like it has a lot of grease on the die and probably a little bit of a weak strike. So this one's 3.3 grams, 18 millimeters. So pretty similar in the size of an Australian 5-cent coin. Had a mintage of 28,213,000, which really was not enough to replace the banknote. Population in Brazil at the time was roughly about 50 million. So really not enough for one person. And all of the coins I've seen for most of this series are pretty much uncirculated, so really they didn't circulate well. And on this side we have the allegorical feature of Brazil. It has Republic of the United States of Brazil. So pretty much taken from the US, and we have all the stars for the different states. So this is probably my favourite coin. It's also rated, and this is my favourite series of 1965 of the whole lot. Anyway, you can pick these up for just a few dollars. I see they have a graded one for 43 American dollars, but then they have ungraded ones for like $5. So really, I would just get an ungraded one. You don't really need a graded coin in for these series because the value of that is not really gonna cover your grading fees. Anyway, let me know what you think of these coins. Yeah, not really that common or popular, but for me, I actually quite like them. But the aluminium bronze coins are also quite nice. Anyway, thank you very much. Have an awesome coin and banknote collecting time, and take care.